Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculata.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. Hey, happy Halloween, everybody. Almost said happy anniversary.
Oh, you
Freudian slip. My friends will know what I mean when I say Freudian slip. How's it going, everybody? Oh, that's funny.
Good evening.
My really awesome intro just got ruined.
Yes.
Darn Freudian slip. Anyway, it's Halloween. How's everybody doing?
Yes. Yes, we are recording this on Halloween, and of course that would be Draculata's special holiday.
That's right. It's my day. It's my holiday. I loves it so.
All right. How would you like to hear some patch notes?
I will be happy to share. Update 33, patch 1 was released.
So before fixed.
Yeah, that's right. We're not calling it a hot fix because it wasn't a hot fix. Update 33, patch 1 was released last Thursday. Not a lot changed in it, actually, but hand wraps can now once again be purchased on the auction house. They are now located under exotic weapons. So all you monks looking for hand wraps, they are now on the auction house. And speaking of those monks, the monk damage reduction on hand wraps will no longer disappear after zoning or resting.
Well, that was a weird one to pass.
Yeah, it was. There was a couple weird ones in there. Favorite soul enhancements, ascendancy, multi-selector options for new deities. All may target the correct target types now instead of self, friend, or undead. And then also some item fixes. Hand wraps will no longer take durability damage, which is a good thing. The Drought of Midnight will now work properly once again. Fixed a crashing issue with missile weapons, which I have no idea. I have a couple rangers, and I didn't have any crashes with my ranger shooting stuff. But
okay, out of curiosity, how is the Draft of Midnight supposed to work?
What the Drought of Midnight does is you buy one, and then you drink it. And then any undead you fight anywhere, not just in Delaire's graveyard, but any undead anywhere, will have a chance to drop chocolates for you.
Oh, okay.
Only chocolates, not keys, just chocolates.
Okay.
But so if you're just looking to farm chocolates, you could go into like the orchard. That would be one place where there's a lot of, there's a lot of quests where you fight a lot of undead. Drink the Drought of Midnight, and there you go. There was an issue where you were drinking it and nothing was happening.
All right.
That is now fixed.
I just wonder, why would someone want to eat chocolate that came off of an undead creature?
Because it's awesome. Undead chocolate is the best chocolate.
Right.
Pineleaf is speechless, folks. Write this date on the calendar. First time ever. Pineleaf is speechless. And then also the headless zombies in the new Night Rebels dungeons will no longer drop treasure bags, as they were never supposed to in the first place. And the red and purple named enemies can no longer erroneously spawn as champions. Yes, apparently some of the Reaper mode kind of seeped into live, and some of the red and purple named enemies were spawning as uber hard champions that were, I guess, wiping whole parties out.
Ouch.
A fun time was had by all, but that is now fixed as well, too. And then really that's about it. Then there's a couple little fixes for Night Rebels. Won't really talk about that because that's going to be over soon. But not a big patch, just a little bit of monk stuff and everything. So, yay.
All right, then let's head into our DDO Chronicle, issue number 212. This is boiling.
Aha. I just made a science show. In the spotlight section of the Chronicle, Even Note has put together an excellent guide on DDO's creature companions and the creature companion system as a whole. If you ever wanted to know anything about creature companions, go read Even Note's guide. It is amazing. Of course, she should know because she has all of the creature companions, but I think there's 3 she's lacking.
Oh,
So
you mean she had? Because I know she was lacking 3 when she was here, but maybe she's gotten them since then.
I think I saw on Twitter she said she's like there's 2 or 3 that she still doesn't have. So
Still lacking. Okay.
it's just insane how many creature companions she has. So she is the one to put together the guide. So go check that out. And then November Muse, which is an awesome name, has written a wonderful little piece of fiction about Maybar. So go check out her, I'm assuming it's a girl, her writing Maybar Rising. Click over to read that on her blog. Well worth the read. Excellent job there. In the fansite news section of our Chronicle this week, DDO Cast episode 450 has some advice for the casual players looking to keep up in the game. So click over and give that a watch or a listen. And the Damsels of DDO had their latest episode where they were pondering Kobold Jello molds. Leave the damsels. That's all I'm going to say. Then Axel is taking a continuing look at DDO's collected storylines in one of his latest new videos, so click over and check that out. And over on City's blog, City Plays DDO is delving into the Night Rebels, so click over and check out what City has to say about the Night Rebels. And then also, of course, we have our Chronicle comment for the week. And our question this week in the Chronicle is, what is the final sentence of the tale of the spooky pumpkin?
Then in the end, we all had pie.
Well played, Pineley. Well played.
Do you have a final sentence for it?
And in the end, the pumpkin ate them all.
Oh, yours was a little bit more sinister.
We went 2 totally opposite directions there.
Yes, yeah, we went the opposite way.
And then the only thing in the Chronicle, of course, is the official screenshot of the week. And it's Risewell and Freywell watch over the undead in Delara's graveyard in the 292 292nd DDO screenshot of the week. And that's a pretty cool little screenshot in Delara's graveyard with the new Reaper armor.
And is he holding something specific or?
I was trying to figure that out. I don't know what they have in their hands. Oh, it's roses? I don't know. I'm not sure what they're holding.
Okay. I think then it's time to head for the store sales. Anything on sale this week that's really nifty?
We have the let's try that again. The Harper Agent Enhancement Tree at 25% off. Select stat tomes, veteran status, and guild renown potions all at 25% off in your DDO store. Free sample of the week through November the 3rd is the aforementioned Drought of Midnight. You will get one of those when you use the awesome coupon code MORECANDY. And that is MOARCANDY. And like all the codes, that is 1 per account. So make sure you are on the correct server, because I may or may not know of somebody that used it on the wrong server. I'm not going to name names.
Ouch.
They're out there. They're listening. They know who I'm talking about.
Then let's head into our site news, and we'll begin with our screenshot of the week. So if the one in the Chronicle is the official one, then is ours the unofficial one, or?
I would say yes, ours is the unofficial screenshot of the week.
All right. Is this from Delara's graveyard?
It is, and this one comes to us from Brack Barefeet again. He says, I took a little break from hunting the undead in Delara's graveyard and captured this spooky shot. And he has a nice shot of the awesome looking sky that we get during the Night Revels. We get the moon, and of course he managed to just perfectly frame the 2 little spooky jack-o'-lanterns there. So this is an awesome little shot, and this would make a great desktop wallpaper actually as well, because he did a really good job with this. So thanks to Brack Barefeet for sending that in. If you would like to see your screenshot featured on our site, you too can send those in. Just email them to me at podcast@ddoplayers.com. Just include a quick little blurb about the picture and any character name that you want mentioned.
All right. Now I have a question for you.
And I have an answer, maybe.
Very well. Are you the foremost expert in all the world in vampirology?
After reading this book, I can say yes. Because believe it or not, I actually learned something about a vampire that I did not know.
Ooh.
Shocking, I know, because as we all know, I'm probably the world's biggest vampire fan, I think. I think that's safe to assume that at this point.
Okay.
Some people say I have like an unhealthy fascination with the vampire, but that's a whole other subject.
Uh-huh.
Yes. The book is Vampireology. And you might be saying, hey, that ology thing sounds familiar. That's because a few weeks ago we reviewed another book in the ology series, the Dungeonology. This is a complete series of books that is put out by Candlewick Press. And this one, of course, is covering the vampire. The official title of the book is Vampireology, The True History of the Fallen Ones. And this covers the origins of the vampire, attributes, ranges, myths, secrets of the vampires, tells you how to kill vampires, how to capture a vampire if you would like to. Just like all the other ology books, it has great artwork. It has little pop-ups. It has like little special things. So check it out. It's aimed at kids, but once again, I said I think this book is kind of cool for adults too. And if you're going to run a horror-themed game, maybe you're going to do like Curse of Strahd, or maybe you're doing like a homebrew game, you could actually incorporate parts of this book into your game, I think, even though that's technically not the intended use for the book. But I think the way it's laid out and some of the information in there, I could easily see a dungeon master taking some of this book and incorporating it into their games. So check that out if you too have a vampire fan on your upcoming gift list. Or maybe you just want a cool little vampire book to add to your collection, like me, if you have a vampire collection book. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Okay.
But a big thanks to Candlewick Press for sending over the review copy of Vampireology.
Now, my question for you then is, did they concentrate on a single version of the myth, or did they cover various different versions of the myth?
Various different versions, actually.
Okay.
And they broke it down by like country, and then there is I didn't mention this when I was talking a little bit ago, I should have. There is an awesome map in the middle of this book that like opens up and then it like folds out, and it is a complete history and a complete spread of the vampire curse all throughout the world. It's an awesome map. I want this map hanging framed on my wall because it is awesome looking. Mm-hmm. So the artwork is top notch. So check it out, Vampireology from Candlewick Press.
All right, then let's see what's coming in from the dungeon, where Easy Roller Dice Company is putting out something that is not dice.
Exactly. I read this and I was like, huh? We all know the guys over at Easy Roller. They make awesome dice. We've reviewed their dice. They make dice accessories. They make some pretty cool dice mats, dice bags. Well, now they're going to make a fantasy adult coloring book because why not?
I know. It says Volume 1.
Yes. See, there's plans for more. I guess it depends how the Kickstarter goes. But of course, this is over on Kickstarter. And as we talked about a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the Monsters and Heroes of the Realms coloring books, that the adult coloring books are kind of the rage right now. And this one looks pretty cool. It features dragons, undead dragons, because why not? Skeletons, unicorns, swords, shields, and weapons. Some centaurs, some skulls, some hellhounds, various other creatures, and a minotaur even. So you have a little bit of everything.
Even a treasure chest.
Even a treasure chest. No mention if that treasure chest is actually a treasure chest or it's a mimic. I guess you have to find out when you color it.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, this one is up and running on Kickstarter now. As of this recording, you have 24 days to go. They are at $2,248 of their $7,500 goal. So you have plenty of time to get in. And they do have a couple different options on the Kickstarter. You can go with the PDF only, or you can go an actual book and a book and a PDF. So you can kind of do however you want to do it. So click over and check that out. The Fantasy Adult Coloring Book coming from Easy Roller Dice Company.
Very well. Then let's go into RPGs. And my question here is, what exactly is
is a fantasy RPG, a dark fantasy RPG, I should say, from a French company called Agate RPGs. It's is set in a kind of a dark fantasy medieval horror world. And they launched the original book over on Kickstarter, and that kind of went crazy and blew up. And this one is kind of blowing up as well. This one is The Shadows of Esterin, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but I'm going to say Derarg. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it or not, but I'm kind of guessing it's a
Derg?
French. Derg, okay.
You said you said French?
It's French, yeah.
Yeah, that's even tougher since I don't know that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know French either. So, anyway, this one is a 500-page hardcover essential rulebook. It's going to be published into 2 volumes because there's that much stuff in it, and players are going to get to create their character. And character creation is actually a little different in this game because it revolves around the main themes of the game, which is love, ethics, guilt, and adoption.
Adoption?
I have no idea why. So there's going to be 21 scenarios in this game, and it looks pretty cool. There is a video that kind of explains a little bit about it over on the Kickstarter page. This one actually funded within minutes. I think 30 minutes it took this one to fund. So they pretty much have smashed their goal already. They have 17 more days to go. They are at, as of this recording, 104,309 of the $20,000 goal. So it's on to those wonderful stretch goals now, and those are falling pretty much daily at this point.
Okay.
So people are really getting behind this RPG. It looks pretty cool, actually. So check it out. It's on Kickstarter now. Like I said, you have 17 days to go as of this recording.
All right. Then let's see what's on our tabletop. And do we really need a game based on the roller derby?
Why wouldn't we need a game based on roller derby finally?
Well, I just thought that the point of the roller derby was, I don't know, it just didn't seem like it lent itself well to simulation.
I would be interesting to see how this works, actually, because roller derby is one of those sports that it's like, okay, how are you going to do that in a board game? But apparently they figured out how to do it. The story behind this one is a little different, actually, because this game is already out. Back in 2012, Game Salute published Impact Miniatures Roller Derby board game. It was called Impact City Roller Derby.
Okay.
And now it looks like Game Salute wants to get rid of the license. They don't want to do it anymore. So Impact is looking to buy their license back, which that makes sense. So, and they're going over to Kickstarter to do this. This one ends fairly quickly, actually. This is a really quick Kickstarter because, most Kickstarters, you usually have 30 days. Sometimes you have 35 days. This one you had 10 days to do it in. There is 3 days to go on this. They have made their goal already. The goal was only...
But that was a rather low goal, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was only $500. Well, and I think the reason behind that is the game is already done. They already have all this stuff. What they're doing is they're just going to do some new miniatures for it. You're looking at 28 millimeter scale, unpainted. Key is unpainted.
Yeah.
Miniatures, and it's going to be a set that's going to be 2 teams, and that's going to be 5 roller derby miniatures. You're going to get 1 jammer, 1 pivoter, and 3 blockers, and then a referee. So that is going to make up the team, and your board is your track. And what you do is you roll dice and you move your miniatures around. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your jammer to pass all the other people to score points, which is basically how roller derby works if you're not familiar with it.
Right.
So an interesting concept for a game. Would love to see actually how it translates, but we'll see, I guess. But yeah, like I said, this one. And the other thing about this one, too, is they are looking to ship this one starting December 5th. So it is a very quick turnaround on this. So check it out on Kickstarter now. Impact Roller Derby from Impact Miniatures.
What I'm surprised is they decided they did need a miniature for the referee.
Well, of course, you got to have your referees skating around too.
Well, I suppose. So I guess I'm just not used to seeing referees represented too much in
That's true.
it.
Again, weird concept for a board game, but it sounds cool actually in a weird, kind of odd way.
And we have even more Kickstarters. What is this? Formal Ferret Games Wordsy Kickstarter?
Yes. Wordsy, weird name for a game. Really, really fun game. This is actually based on one of Gail Hoba's previous games, which was Prolix. And if you listen to our interview with Gail Hoba, he kind of talked about Prolix. And he talked about Wordsy a little bit. But this one actually is going up on Kickstarter tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And what Wordsy is it's a word game where you get 8 letters to spell your words. There are no vowels, though. It's only consonants on the board. And you have 30 seconds to find as many words as you can. But the awesome thing about it is you were not limited to just the letters that you get on the board. You can use any letters you want to spell as many words as you can to get the most points. So like in my, go ahead.
As in, what are the 8 letters for then?
That you have to use those. That's how you score. What you do is there are 4 rows of cards that you lay down. And then you have a 5-point, a 4-point, a 3-point, and a 2-point row. And what you do is you lay down the 5, 4, 3, and 2, and then you lay 2 cards above those. And that is your letters that you have to work with. And in my example that I put up, I had an H, a Y, a T, a P, an X, an M, a B, and a D. So with those letters that I had, I could do ham, damp, V, mad, tamper, tap, youth, you, bad, and blood as an example. Because as I said, you can use any other letters that you want. You have to use at least those letters that are on the board. And to score, you definitely have to use those letters. So in that round, I would have took youth as my word. And you can see this by going over on the site and actually see the picture. And I'll have this up on the YouTube as I'm talking about this here. But I would have scored 13 points with that letter, with that word youth, because the Y is actually a bonus letter. So that would give me 1 bonus point. And that was in the 4-point row.
Okay.
And then the T was in the 3-point row, and then the H was in the 5-point row. So I would have got 13 points for doing youth.
So therefore, thorax would have been worth 15 points because there's a +2 for the X.
Correct, and I didn't even think about that. See, I knew this game screams Pine because you make words up, and who doesn't like to make words up better than you, Pine Leaf? So you need to jump on this Kickstarter well, I guess it's not up yet, but you need to check this Kickstarter out. So yes, that's exactly right, because you could use that, and the X is a bonus point. So that's the point. You're trying to get the longest, biggest word, most points you can get within 30 seconds. And everybody, another weird thing about it too is if you're playing with people, you can also play the solo as well. But
there is a solo mode.
There is a solo mode. If you play with people, everybody plays at once. But the thing is, the first person that thinks they have the best word they can will grab the timer, and that starts the round. And then when that person starts the round, everybody else has 30 seconds to come up with their words. And then there's also other little various rules, like you can challenge a person on a word. Like if somebody says like some weird word that you don't think is actually a word, you can challenge them on it. And then, of course, you have to look that word up. And then if it's an actual word, you lose points, they gain points. If it's just a word they made up, you gain points, they lose points, yada, yada, yada. So it's an interesting, unique twist on a word game. It's called Wordsy, and it's from Formal Ferret Games. Will be on Kickstarter tomorrow, actually. November 1st is the date that Kickstarter starts.
All right. My question there is, what happens if a letter is used twice in the word? You only get credit for it once, unless, of course, it has to be repeated or something?
Yes, you only get scored for it once. And the other interesting thing is in your game, then you can only use the same word one time. So like on the next board, you will take those cards away and add new cards. Like let's say in the previous round, you used the word blood, let's say. You can't use the word blood again in the whole game. You can only use the word and score points for it one time. So that's kind of something else you have to think about if you have a really big word. You're like, do I want to do that right away, or do I want to wait until like the fourth round to do that, or do I want to score my points at the beginning? So a lot of strategy involved in it.
All right. I'll have to look into that when that comes up. Now, Pathfinder adventure game, Mummy's Mask, is now out from Paizo. How many of these things do they have out now?
Many, Pine Leaf, many. Paizo is just cranking stuff out for the Pathfinder adventure game. And you might remember we talked about this a long, long time ago. And there hasn't really been any news on it. And I checked today because I thought, that was supposed to be out around Halloween. And lo and behold, it came out today because then I got a press release from them. So, yes, Mummy's Mask is out. And in the game, the heroes will brave terrible guardians, foul cults, and of course the burning sands of the desert to stop the rebirth of an ancient tyrant in this cooperative strategy game that is going to pit 1 to 4 players against the monsters, the curses, and the traps of the Mummy's Mask adventure path for the Pathfinder RPG. So if you're familiar with the Mummy's Mask adventures, you're going to get to play that in the card game as well. Players are going to choose their character's class. You build the deck of equipment, just like you do in the regular Pathfinder adventure game, and explore the dangerous locations and try to get treasure and beat the mummies. Ooh. So that is out now today from Paizo.
All right. Now, you said this is a cooperative game, so there's no hidden traitor or anything like that?
Correct. No, there's not. If you have never played the Pathfinder adventure game, it is totally cooperative. You need to work together as a team or you are going to fail.
All right. And the reason why I'm mentioning hidden traitors is because the next thing you're looking into is Betrayal at House on the Hill, which is very definitely has a hidden traitor.
Yes, there is always a traitor, but you don't know who it is until a specific thing happens, and then you know who it is. This, of course, is the long-awaited expansion for Betrayal at House on the Hill, entitled Widow's Walk. The House on the Hill has a wicked reputation. Those who dare to darken its door often leave steeped in madness and despair, if they ever leave at all. How spooky does that sound? And
dare to darken its door?
Yeah.
Boy, they were in a alliterative mood.
If you have you ever played Betrayal at House on the Hill?
No, I just saw. I saw the tabletop episode of it.
Okay, yeah, If you haven't ever played it, watch that tabletop episode, and you'll kind of get a feel for how it's played. It's an amazing game. I love Betrayal at House on the Hill, and spoiler alert: the expansion just adds to the amazingness of the game. You're going to get a lot new in the expansion. You get 50 new haunts plus 1 super haunt, and that one is going to trigger when you do some of these specific haunts and some things happen. I won't spoil it. I actually have not physically seen the super haunt yet, but I do know there is certain things that happen, and they say you'll know that the super haunt's going to trigger because it tells you to go look something up. There is an all-star cast of contributors that did contribute to this to create the 50 new haunts. There is pretty much who's who in this list. You can look at the list. I did link it. There are some names that you're going to go, oh, yeah, I know them. Oh, yeah, I know him. Oh, yeah. So there are different types of things that happen too. That each haunt is different, so there's a lot of replayability. You're also getting the biggest thing I think that it adds to the game is you get a roof. You can actually go to the roof of the house now. That's actually where the Widow's Walk is. And then the other big thing that the lead designer, Mike Selinker, said he actually got a chance to answer one of the most often asked questions he ever got asked about House on the Haunted Hill. And that question was, where's the bathroom in this house? I because the original house had no bathroom card in tile, but now there's a bathroom tile.
Okay.
So if you're wondering where you're going to go to the bathroom, now you have a bathroom to go in.
Now, the
So yeah,
question is it a bathroom that you would really want to use?
well, it depends. Things happen. That's all I'm going to say. But this is a true expansion, though. You do need the original. What you do is you will include these cards and these tiles in with the original tiles, and it kind of mixes the games together. You cannot play this as a standalone. You have to have the original, so keep that in mind. I know there was a lot of people that I read on Board Game Geek that were confused about that at first. Not a standalone, a full, true expansion, but it is out now from Avalon Hill, so check it out. I highly recommend it. Betrayal at House on the Hill, Widow's Walk. I want to extend a big thank you to Avalon Hill / Wizards of the Coast for sending us over the review copy.
All right. Then let's head into our week in gaming. Jirak, what were you up to?
Pretty much the same thing I was up to last week. Night Revels,
Okay.
Night Revels, Night Revels, and more Night Revels.
Did you do any night revels?
A little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit. I did get my daily run of Grim and Barrett. Still not getting a quiver. Again, nobody's shocked. Nobody whatsoever is shocked by that. So We'll see. One of these days. But yeah, basically all I've done is Night Revels. Doing that on my Warlock, on my level 13 Rogue, which I'm running with my friend, who is the Wizard. We run the Wizard Rogue combo together. We did Night Revels, a lot of Night Revels. Poor guy. I drag him through so many Night Revels. My Ranger 21 Rangers doing Night Revels. The little Ranger 11 Gnome that I have for the static group with Mithri, Sab, and Rent. Guess what? We did Night Revels. And you and I, spoiler, did Night Revels. So yeah. But on the plus side, I did get enough items that I now have my set of armor and I have my little mini undead beholder. So all the Night Rebels grind has paid off.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I did besides the Night Rebels is that level 13 Rogue I had was level 12, but now it's 13 because my friend, we couldn't figure out why he was gaining experience so much quicker than I was. He is sitting at level 14 now, and I was at level 12, and I'm like, dude, how are you leveling so fast? Well, it turns out that he had forgot he had a tome of extraordinary experience that he has on his character. So therefore, he's getting a ton more experience for the quest than I have. So I'm like, yeah, I got to catch up with you now. So I decided to go out into the Red Fens to do the Slayers, the Rares, and the Explorers, and I'm running the quest out there, running them on Elite to get the most experience I can. I actually did manage to go from 12 to 13 doing that, well, plus the Night Rebels helped too. But so hopefully my goal is within the next few days I'll actually be at 14, and then him and I will be even level, and then him and I are going to go into Grim and Barrett and see if my quiver luck is any better with two people instead of just me. So we'll see. Because I already told him. I said, if that quiver drops, you're going to click the little down arrow and pass it to me. If not, bad things are going to happen. That's all I can say. And the only other thing I did in gaming is, of course, my weekly Dungeons & Dragons 5e playthrough of the Storm King's Thunder with my friend and his two kids. They are actually in the Dripping Cave section of the game. They did manage to actually kill 2 ogres that were in there, which I really, really thought they probably were going to get a TPK on those ogres, because those ogres are pretty hard to kill, but they were smart about how they did it. They actually got them one at a time, and they were just, I was pretty impressed with how they actually handled that, because they knew there was 2 ogres because they saw ogre tracks, but when they went into the cave, they only saw one, so they knew there was another one in there somewhere. But the way they handled the one, I don't kind of want to spoil it because it's kind of part of the story. They did something that made it a lot easier to kill one of the ogres. So they actually did good as a party, and they really helped themselves out there. Much to my chagrin as the killer DM that tries to kill my party. But, you know. they did a good job. So yeah, we're continuing on with Storm King's Thunder. They are looks like they're having a lot of fun with it, and that is a really fun storyline that Wizards has put together. So we are really enjoying that. So how about you, Pine Leaf? What were you up to in gaming this week?
As you mentioned before, together we went on and ran Night Revels, and we ran all 6 of the Night Revels dungeons. First we ran the 2 new ones, and then we went back and ran through the classic ones, so to speak. After, of course, doing the obligatory rush around to get a couple of keys so that we would have enough to do the runs.
Yeah, so what did you think of the new dungeons?
Let's see. Well, interesting going through Haywire Foundry backwards.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that I think of the 2 new ones, I think Hayweird is my favorite one. I think because just like you said, just it's interesting to see it backwards, and you're not running for your. Well, you're still kind of running for your life, but not as much as you were when the place was going to blow up, I guess.
Yeah, and so you at least get to see it as you're going around there.
Yeah.
And when we were going against zombies, I would switch into weapon mode and with my aura on and slash at them that way. And then when we got skeletons, I would jump back into blaster mode, so to speak. So I think that
warlocks.
And also then on my Drow Warlock, I finally got around to doing part 2 of the Temple of Elemental Evil, and of course the usual happened there. I survived through the fire node, got all the way through there, got to Zugamoy's boss room, and then was squished by this fungus boss.
I really have to get Bonnie, and we need to run through and get you so you could actually beat part 2 at least one time and say you've actually done it. So Bonnie View, if you're out there listening, we're gonna find through part 2.
But can't you run me through it as a level 7 character?
Probably, yeah.
All right. Then let's head into board games, where since it was Halloween weekend, I first ran on Mansions of Madness. I decided to run through the Escape from Innsmouth scenario there. And that is a really appropriate Halloween one because apparently Innsmouth is not a good place to be at night.
No. Not at all.
No, not at all. And therefore, it was called Escape from Innsmouth. And yeah, I don't think I quite made it. Then after that, a new game that I got over the weekend, Elder Sign. I know it's been around for a while, but I think because it was out of print the last time I was looking for it. And
I guess I didn't realize that went back into print, actually. Because, yeah, that's been out of print for a while, actually. So
apparently it got back into print. And even though the Fantasy Flight game site I think it was saying it wasn't quite in print yet. So either this is a shipment that came in and there's more coming along the way, or what, I don't know. But whatever, I got it through a window where that's all was at a reasonable price. So therefore, I went in there, tried my first game on that, and had a nice, promising start. But eventually I got squished like a bug. It might have been a good idea if I checked which boss to start out with and tried selecting an easier one. Rather than the one who, if you wound up collecting, that if you had all of the Omen, Dread, or whatever they call those tokens that the monster collects in there, that if you filled it all in, it says, the world has ended. You have lost.
Oh, nice.
No, what? Not even a boss fight. Sorry. You lost. So, yeah, that could have gone bad. After it, I just wanted to make sure that, I did everything all right. So I went back and rewatched the old Tabletop episode for Elder Sign to see how that was going. And Wheaton had the same character that was my first character when I was playing this game before I started getting this round being devoured every other turn. I went through a lot of investigators in that, which is probably what got the Doom track really rolling along, because whenever an investigator gets devoured and you have to replace them, you get another Doom token. So it's like boom, 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 filling up the Doom token very quickly. So that came to a very tragic end, finally.
You almost sound like relieved about that.
Well, the way it was going at the end, where it was like, where they were piling up at the end, I think I was a little relieved with that. And then I saw that they had in their an ad in the sheets, and they're saying, yes, we have a app version for iOS and Android. And when I first read that, they didn't say anything about a Steam version. So I said, what, no Steam version? And therefore I was like, oh, well, I probably wouldn't be playing it then. But it so happened today I was searching for something related to Elder Sign, and yeah, one of the hits I got was for the Steam page. So it was not on Steam, but because it's Halloween, it was on sale at Steam. So I said, 60% off. Okay, boom, I got home, purchased. So now I can play it on the app too.
So how did they incorporate the app with it? Well, I guess you probably don't really know.
I haven't had a chance to do it because I only finished downloading it just before the show started. So
right.
I haven't had a chance. But apparently they are following the game rules on it, but there are one or two tweaks they made because they felt it wouldn't work as well in the app. So there are a couple of places where they cleaned up things to make cards easier to read and more consistent with each other and things like that. But at least that's what it says in their description.
Oh, okay.
We currently have 23 supporters on Patreon. If you would like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you would like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAllied, DDO Players @DDO Players, Draculata @Draculata_72, and Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Every Thursday at 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. On the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Academy After School. And please note that between now and the next episode of DDO Players News, the United States will be going off of daylight savings time. That is it for tonight's show. Thank you for joining us. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.